All right, folks, we will get started shortly. Looks like about 3 minutes out. Hey, Key, I see your comments and all your symbols are all together. So retype them in separated by a comma, okay? Glad you like it. Good. All right, folks, again, we'll get started. It looks like about 2 minutes out. All right, Key, that's much better. Good, thank you. All right, about a minute out. All right, well, welcome everybody to this week's Stock Analysis Fridays. My name is Bennett McDowell with TradersCoach.com. And of course, it's great to be back in front of you here today. All right, so today is August 12th, 2022. Time ticking right by here. All right, so last week we found a lot of good picks, and I'm going to review a couple of them because they're doing really, really well. And I'm sure we're going to uncover some more today. So I think we'll have a good day. The room's starting to fill up, so all is looking good. I have a few administrational items, of course, I'm going to go through. I'm also going to touch a little bit on the overall market and where we're at right now. We're seeing a lot of good long trades, and that's because we're in a bullish part of a long-term correction. And this bullish part could last a couple months. So with that said, because we are position traders, we trade the swings of the market, that is our opportunity at this point to go long. But these are really not buy and hold type of situations. These are more playing the momentum of the market. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Let me run you through some of the things we need to talk about today, of course, and that leads us to the risks involved in trading. Like I always say, without that risk, there is no opportunity. So the two really go hand in hand. You need to manage that risk. You also need to trade with money you can afford to risk, called risk capital. And of course, please check with your financial advisor or money manager before implementing any of the ideas we suggest here or any of the trading opportunities, because they know your personal situation. We don't, and there may be a lot of variable factors that come into play. So some of these trades may be suitable for you and some may not. So please check with them. We can't guarantee any trade will be a success, of course, but we go in with optimistic potentials, and also we use strict risk control. And if you need help with risk control, that's where we come in, because we have a brand new book on money management for traders that I just released about a month or two ago. And this is a great book because it is not a difficult book to comprehend, nor is it an extremely long book. Now, I have a book on the far left called The Trader's Money Management System, and that's a fairly comprehensive, detailed book. But my newest book on the far right, called Money Management for Traders, is really a concise amount of information you need to implement a risk control money management program into your set of trading rules. So grab that book if you don't have it. It's not expensive. It's available in a variety of different formats. You can get it in the Kindle edition, the hardback, soft cover, and even an audio edition. So when you're driving to work, you can listen to it. Also, too, very pleased to announce that we just signed contracts with Wiley Publishing on our second edition of The Art of Trading. So we're pretty happy about that. That's going to be released in the spring of 2023. And we're working on another book deal with them as well. And then we have books on Elliott Wave, and the Survival Guide for Traders book is basically a great reference book on how to run your trading right from your home like a professional hedge fund. So those are all great books and available for you as well. And Gene is saying, hello, Mr. Padres, because I'm wearing my San Diego Padres shirt and my San Diego hat. All right, so if you haven't guessed, I'm from San Diego. All right, so let's keep going on here. We've got a variety of different software tools available at traderscoach.com. I really feel these are the best tools on the market today, because they are a comprehensive approach to trading. Not only do we give you charting software, and you're going to see that being used today, and we look at a variety of different time frames before we make an entry. So that really gives us, or answers the question for us, of when to enter a market. It's all about timing. And then we have scanners in order to find the markets. In fact, Key was saying today he used our newest scanner called the Multiple Time Frame Analysis Scanner, where it scans over different time frames of your choice to find the best setups. And this is a brand new scanner. We just released this last month. So I'm glad, Key, you're liking that. And we're going to take a look at some trades that you found with that today as well. And then finally, on the bottom row there, we have all our risk control software. You know, risk control is a absolutely vital part of becoming a successful trader. We usually tend to see people focus on entries and exits, but they don't really focus on trade size and proper risk control procedures. So you kind of have to have that. And if you need help with that, again, that money management book will certainly come to the aid and rescue you. All right, let's move on here. I want to take a little quick look at the overall chart I've devised here for the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Now, this chart is a long-term chart. And what do we mean by that? Well, what we mean is that each price bar you see on the chart actually represents a full week of activity. Now, most people are used to looking at charts like this, but each price bar just represents the day worth of activity. So this is a longer term chart. They consider that because each price bar is a full week. And so we kind of get a good look at the market, and we go all the way back to 2009 here. And so we've had this initial breakdown. Now, if you're an Elliott Wave person, we designated this on the weekly chart as a wave 3. okay? And we completed wave 5 on the daily chart recently, back in the end of 2021 to 2022. So really, the market has been sliding down all of 2022. And believe it or not, both the S&P and the NASDAQ got around 30% down. I think the NASDAQ was a little bit more. Now we've had a rebound, and that's what we're experiencing now. And that rebound here is called B wave. Now, if this corrective analysis is correct, we will never reach the top of wave 3, okay? This high here probably is an all-time high that we won't see penetrated again for probably 4 years. All right, so this is a very long-term correction. But as traders, we trade the swings down, we trade the swings up. So now we're in an upswing. Thus, we've been seeing a lot of bullish or long trades. So that's why we've been bullish. Now, these are not buy and holds. When we look at these trades here, they are momentum trades. So we plan to be in these for kind of a short period of time, maybe a month, 2 months, maybe 3 if the B wave gets extended. But after B wave, we do expect the markets to sell off again. And we're expecting the markets to go down into the teens. So we're expecting maybe anywhere from 18, probably to 15,000 as a possible bottom on the market. So that's a huge sell-off, okay? Maybe 60% from the all-time high. So we're talking about a significant long-term correction here. So I don't think we're going to be at that bottom until probably the end of next year, 2023. But then, you know, after that bottom is reached, all right, then we got to climb out of it. And that takes quite a while too. So that's why I'm thinking we're probably not going to see the highs that we've had for quite some time. Now, what B wave can do for us, all right, is that if this initial move down caught you by surprise, this B wave is going to give you a chance to get with your financial advisor and come up with a game plan in case the markets sell off again. And once they dip below the previous low here back in June, then you're going to definitely want to go ahead and start liquidating some of those long-term positions. So get a game plan in place. You might even want to be selling into this strength and maybe think about hedging those positions with some inverse ETFs or even some short plays, including some put options. So that's kind of where we think it's going. We have one indicator here at the bottom called the PTF that kind of confirms this type of forecast as best as possible. This indicator is right about 75% of the time, and it's indicating we're going to see more lows below the COVID low that occurred in 2020. So there it is. We work in a realm of probabilities. Nothing's guaranteed here, but that seems to be where we're headed. All right, and then finally, please like, subscribe, and share, okay? The more people we get coming here each week, the more stock opportunities we get to take a look at. And of course, that means the more possibilities that you can trade each and every week. And of course, if you're in anything and you just want a second opinion of what to do, you know, you're in the right place. All right, so let's get going here. Let's jump into some charts. I wanted to take a quick look, and then I'm going to start hitting the symbols you guys want me to look. Here's TRIP, T-R-I-P. This is one we found last week, and this is doing really, really good. So you can see, since we've been together, what, 5 full week ago, so 5 trading days roughly, you can see that since then we've got a nice big move up here. So it's getting kind of close to the target. So it's kind of getting a little late for an entry because you got to put your stop far enough for any type of breadth in the market before it hits that target. Now, what's interesting is there's not a whole heck of a lot of history on this one. So if we open up the weekly chart, you can see we go back to about 2012, and that's about it. So we've come down quite a bit since its initial release, and now we may be climbing out. So here is a longer term retracement. This is a weekly chart. And so chances are, you know, based on the green PTF, we're going to get above the 63 mark. So I would hold on to this as long as possible. And if you want to go in now, you've got to look at it as a longer term trade to hold it to this particular retracement area. So I think TRIP is still fairly good. It's not as good as it was last week, because we're getting closer to a short-term resistance level in the middle. Now, don't forget, for those of you that are new here, I've got 3 charts up here. I've got the 60-minute on the far left. This is our short-term look at the market. We've got the daily charts here, our intermediate look at the market, and our weekly charts over here, which is the long-term look. And we always look with the same symbol. So when you give me a symbol, I'm going to analyze it on all 3 time frames. Why do we do that? Because it helps us with the timing. All right. If you look at all 3 time frames, you will get a better picture of when it is best to go long or short, or maybe even stay out of that market. This particular top area here with all the nice colors, these are our scanners working, okay? So we've got the scanners operating up there. All right, so TRIP was doing good. We had a variety of different ones, Ford, NVIDIA, and those are all doing fairly well too. All right, so let's go back and see. Let me start with Key. Key has found a couple good ones here. So Key, let's start with you and take a look at LW. So LW here. All right, so these are already good trending stocks, which is what you found here. Let's see if there's an opportunity to jump in on this trend and see where it's going. All right, so on this one here, Key, I think this one is a little bit near a top. All right, I think we're going to have one more high, because look, see where the PTFs are all green. The problem is the highs in those green areas are so close to where current prices are that you don't have an opportunity there. Okay, so you got to pass on this one. Also, too, you've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pyramids in a row, about to get a 7th. So that is an indication of trend exhaustion. So I would pass on this one. SGFY is the next one here. Give that a second to load. Okay, so this is one we looked at earlier as well. So if you're still in this one, you want to hold it. Okay, so PTF is, I mean, the MTF is right on the money in terms of everything is looking good for higher highs here. I would not go into this right now because you're already in the target zone. Okay, so this was a good one. We looked at this one a while back and of course liked it, but now it's in the target zone, probably with another high. And then you got to think about moving those stops up pretty close. All right, SGML, let's take a look at that bad boy. Give that a second to load. All right, so this one now, this one's kind of interesting because it's broken out of the channel here. Okay, again, great trade probably when it broke out. We're going to go a little higher. I'm a little concerned by the fact that, again, we're kind of getting up into the upper limits of this trend. And you can certainly see on all time frames how steep this recent move up has been. So here we have a big move up. Notice the pyramid here. This is our ARK pyramid trading point. Let me just show you what that looks like. So when you see that in the beginning of a trend like that, this is where your entry can be right here. Okay, and your stop down here. So as you can see, it's late, and look how many price bars in a row you've gotten moving in that direction. Really visible on the 60-minute. And also we've got bearish divergence building here on the weekly. So this is a long-term big move up that we've experienced all the way back from really when this stock opened up in 2020. And it's probably going to go a little higher because you do have green PTFs. So if you're in this trade, you want to hold it. That's one of the nice things about the PTFs when they're green. And of course, the scanner is telling you to hold that too. So you don't want to exit yet, but I think it's a little late to get in for the first time. Okay, so that's SGML. And then let's take a look at your next one, SPWR. All right, so in this bad boy here, same type of thing. We've had a pretty nice move up recently on both the 60 and also on the daily. So again, we've got a green PTF here on the weekly chart. So a couple things here. One is if you got in it before, stay in it. If you're going to take a trade, don't make it a short-term trade. Trade this chart over here. You've got a target way up here on SPWR of almost near $60, and we're at 26. So you're going to want to put your stop way down here and wait for that retracement before moving your stop up. Now, another way you could do this, you're starting to see bearish divergence here. You don't see it really here, all right? But, you know, where are you going to put your stop? All right, if you just pick a price bar, you know, any type of pullback will stop you out. So you got to be kind of careful on where you're putting your stops. That's why I'm saying you got to go pretty low. Or one of the other things you could do is wait for the retracement and then use that as your stop. So if you wanted to take a long-term trade on this, you certainly could do it based on a target way up here. You got the risk to reward basically of 2 to 1 in your favor there. Another way you could play this is options. Okay, you could take a longer term option on this and just don't buy any more than roughly 2% of your account size. Figure out your risk that you should be taking on this. And if you need help with that, we have a piece of software called the Trader's Assistant that does that for you based on your performance. It tells you how much risk you should be basically should be taking as a maximum on each trade. But in a case like this, an option wouldn't be a bad way to do it. Options aren't a bad way to hop on board if the trend is already away from you and you can't place a stop at a really good spot. Okay, so that's a possibility for you. All right, thank you, Key. All right, so let's see what else we got cooking here. Good morning, good morning. Good morning. All right, Al, how are you? I think you're the next one, ARKK. I think this was one of our likes from before, right? I think we liked this one before. We had looked at this, I think, 2 weeks ago, if my memory serves me correct. So on this one here, all right, it is doing what it's supposed to be doing, which is marching on up to our target zone here. All right, so our targets are roughly around 69 3/4 up to 91.88. We're at 51. You could put your stop probably right around in here. You've had kind of a zigzag pullback, so I think we're heading up from here. So stop here. There's your entry, and your risk control will put you about 2 to 1. So we could probably keep that on the recommended list for this week, ARKK. So not a bad one. Okay, that should zing the money in there. And again, this is a momentum trade. So when you get into that target zone, you want to trail those stops. But I'm liking this. We got a green PTF, green owl. When I say owl, that's this indicator here. And this measures momentum. So we like to go long when this is green. We can go long or short when this is yellow. But when this is green, this is indicating more highs. Find the highest price bar in the green area. And on the 60-minute chart, it looks like we'll be up to 54 at some point here. So this is looking okay. All right, not too bad. We've got the owl almost green on the weekly chart. So we're starting to see that start to turn on the weekly chart. So I'd probably go in with a little less trade size than I could on this because technically we're going against a trend that's still not turned around yet on the weekly, but it's starting to. So I'd watch the trade size. Okay, so that looks pretty good. No worries on that one. MRO, let's see what this is looking like here. Okay, so let's see what we got cooking here on this. All right, so on this one here, we've had a big move up since the spring. Let's make sure this is retraced enough. One of the things you got to be careful about is on individual stocks here, where are you in terms of a retracement? So we reached the target zone here. That's good. My only problem with this is I can't really see on this that well that we have an ABC correction. Let me see if this, maybe we may have had it here on the 60. Let's just take a look and put this under a magnifying glass a little bit. So what I like to see on a correction is I like to see, Elliott Wave basically says you should have an ABC type of correction, right? On any time frame that you're in. So this has reached the target zone. I assume that maybe this is an A, B, C. That's kind of a weak C. So the other possible count on this is an A, B, and C. That's possible. And if you go long here, you could get stopped out. However, it did reach the target zone. There is a possibility of an ABC. So what do you do in a case like this? I take these. All right. I would go long on this. And we'll draw in the fib extensions in just a minute. I'm trying to see if there's any red PTFs on any of the time frames. Nope. This one's green. That's a good sign. We can go long on a yellow. That's okay. So I guess I would do that. You can put your stop at the very bottom, or if you're worried about a C wave coming back down, you can put it under here. Problem is your risk to reward is probably going to be shattered if you do that. So let's just see where our target is on this. And I think this is probably looking to be a pretty decent one. My only thing is it's not as clear as I'd like it to be. So the target is between 37 and 48, and we're at 24 almost right now. So, and your stop needs to go down here at the bottom around 20. So you get about 4 points of risk, and we're going to make, we need at least 8 points. So that would put it at 32, and the target's at 37, 61 to 48. So you got your 2 to 1. Okay. So this is good. Let's put this as a new one this week, MRO. All right. And Al, nice job again. Okay. So this is one we like for this week, and good 2 to 1 risk to reward. Like I said, I think I would just put the stop at the bottom. If you get stopped out, we can try it again, but you don't want to miss it. So I think it's good. Okay. I'm liking that. All right. Let's see what else we got here. Thank you for those. Stuart, how are you? All right. General Motors. Stuart, I think, did you do Ford last week? I think you did Ford, and that was looking pretty good. All right. So General Motors. Also, we've looked at this one before, too. I think we looked at this a couple weeks ago, too. So General Motors is doing what we thought it would do a couple weeks ago. Hopefully, you got in earlier. Right now, it's a little late to get in. Okay. So I'm not so sure, Stuart, we're going to make an all-time high on General Motors. The best I'm shooting for here is this target right now. You know, if it hits the target and it keeps going, fine. But the target is an area of a point of inflection where we could also see a turn back down. So I like to get in as early as I can, which would have been down here on this trade. So the risk to reward is 2 to 1, even to that target. And then it's a no sweat trade. So in this case here, I keep long if you were, you're fine, okay? You really have not had that much of a pullback yet. So we need to keep looking at this. Let me just focus in on these. No, you really haven't had a good pullback. These are all breaths in the market where the pyramids are. So the pyramid is tracking up this first A wave up. So I'm thinking at some point you may get a B wave and then a C wave to reach finally into the target zone. So if you entered in here, okay, you'd have to put your stop way down here, and you don't have the risk to reward really to do that. So if you're not in this, you can keep watching it, because if it pulls back and then resurges, then you'll have your risk to reward. You put your stop under there and go. Okay, so that's kind of where I'm at on this right now, Stuart. If you're long, stay long. If you're not in it, don't go in it yet. The risk to reward's not there at this time. That may change. All right, let's take a look at DOCU. This is one from last week, which was on our buy list. So this was a good one too, right up there with that first one I showed you, Trip. All right, so this one has not excelled yet to the upside, and it's still looking pretty good. My only problem with this is I think we may see a little bit of a pullback here. We got a red, okay, owl here, and we have a green PTF. So I don't think the pullback's going to be anything serious, not with a green PTF on the 60. So I think probably if you still wanted to take this trade, you could. If you have our tools, what I would do personally is wait until this red turns back to green. So you probably, this is kind of what I'm talking about in terms of timing your entry using 3 different time frames. So our tools are telling us we've got some bearish momentum coming in that's being reflected on this little pullback here on the shorter time frame. So I think I could probably get you in at a better price if you were using our tools, because I think it's going to come down a little bit before it heads back up. So I probably would not put this necessarily on a buy list. If you have our tools, wait, use them, and you can probably get a better price. However, all right, if you want to get in here and put your stop here, you still have a great risk to reward. And even though you might be able to get a better price sometime in the next week or a couple days, you'll still do okay on this trade. So I'll leave that up to you on how you want to play it. But with the red PTF on the 60-minute, I can't reinstate this on the buy list. Okay, it was on the buy list last week, and hopefully you got in there. Okay, so that's kind of where we're at now. CHPT, let's take a look at this one that you have here. Give that a second to load. All right, so this looks like kind of a new one here. Not a lot of history, okay? I'm not a big fan in stocks that don't have enough history where I can see really what's going on. So, all right, so if you got in back here in 2020, you went way up to 45, you went way below, almost, well, pretty much exactly where you got in, and now you're bouncing off again. So it's been quite a ride for buy and holders. Now, what's interesting is we have a green PTF here. We have a bullish owl coming in. So I'm kind of liking that. Okay, so the target is here. If we look at the daily chart, let's see where we're going. Oh, we got a red PTF. Okay, can't do anything on this. See the red PTF here, Stuart? All right, that's going to keep me out of the trade. I got to wait for that to turn green. It's indicating possibly one more low before it comes up. So if this is wrong, again, this is right 75% of the time. So if this is one of the 25% times it's wrong, then it will abruptly turn green and we can take it from there. But for right now, I would hold off on that, unfortunately. Okay, looked good up until the red PTF. All right, let's keep going here. Yeah, and key, just so you know, on the MTF scanner, you can adjust the settings as well. Okay, what you'll find is that when you look at some things that the PTF says are good, if you look at them late, then the trend will already be in place, like some of those that we looked at. However, if you keep using it, you'll find some you can get in early on. Okay, so just keep using it. You'll be eventually finding the stocks getting in early. All right, let's keep going. Al's got a few more. DBN. All right, AI, Aggie, is that yours? Okay, I'm sorry, I'll get back to you on that. Okay, give me 1 second. Let me just take a look at DBN and I'll bounce back to you. All right, so so what do we got cooking here? We've got, I think we're in a wave 4 here. And again, on this one, let's see if we hit the target zone for a wave 4. Now, this is kind of interesting because we hit the target zone, okay? The only thing here is that we've got a red wave 4 here, and I don't think, let's see if we hit the target zone on the weekly chart. We might have, but I don't think so. Yep, you did. Okay, so you're okay on this. All right, so again, this is like the other one we looked at, ABC, possibly there, so you don't want to miss it. So let's go long on that one. Let's see where the target is to make sure we have risk to reward. We should have it on this one. We'll use a fib extension. We have a green PTF there and a green PTF there, so that's looking pretty good. But let's see what the extensions here are going to show us. And just give me a second to draw those in. All right, so we got 92 to 120. So let's just quickly, we have a calculator that does all this real quick for you. But basically what we're looking at is the difference between 48. So if we put the stop at the bottom of this pyramid here, all right, which would be right around 53.13. So you're almost 11 points out, and 20. Yeah, so you got a 2 to 1 here. Okay, to 92 to 102. So this is okay. Let's put this on our list. DVN. Okay, so that's a good one. I'm liking that, Al, and that's a buy. Okay, just make sure that stop gets below that pyramid there. So not a bad one. All right, we'll give you a ching ching. All right, let me go back up to you, Aggie. Here, I think I missed you. Was it AI you wanted to look at? Let me get that one squared away for you. Ooh, this is kind of an interesting one. Aggie knows my weak spots, I think, because Aggie knows that I like to get in early on trends. And as you can see, we've had a big move down, a bottoming, and now a breakout. So this could be a place to get in early. And look at how the OWL, the momentum on the weekly chart is so bullish. Well, it's still bearish, but you have such great bullish divergence that, boy, that's a good one. All right, couple things here. Let's take a look here. 60-minute chart is fine. Green OWL, green PTF. You have a breakout from here. Loving that. Okay, loving that. You had your first big pullback here. Loving that. I would put the stop just to be safe either down here. You could probably put it here, but I think for the extra point or so, you're gonna be able to do it. Let's just see what the risk to reward is first, because I think it's gonna be huge. All right, in your favor, that is. All right, so retracements. Yeah, look at that. Okay, this has got to go on a buy list. Okay, AI is a good one, and I'm liking it a lot. Nice job, Aggie. Okay, so this one here, I would cut the trade size by a third. So whatever you calculate the trade size to be based on your stop and your account size and where you can get in, cut it in half, because technically we're trading against what is still considered a downtrend on the weekly chart. So just cut it by a third, not a half. Cut it by a third. All right, and that's looking good. So the target is 76 to 115. What do you think? Like that? Good one. All right, nice. All right, Stuart, let's take a look at SLB. Okay, that's the second one on your list today. All right, Stuart said no, somebody else had Ford Motor Company. Okay, no worries. That was a good one, though. All right, so let's see what we got here. All right, so SLB. All right, so no go. Okay, no go on this. Got a red PTF on the weekly, red PTF on the 60, and a long signal on the daily. Nope, nothing to do there. Signals are not in sync, so we just pass. Okay. All right. Let's see what else we got. All right. NEM. All right. Let's see. Saying for a short position. All right. This would have been a short, good short a while back. I mean, look at the pyramids. Okay. You could have gone short way up in here and then trailed your stop. And you want to stay short. You got red down here. You're getting a little bit of a pullback, but it should be just a breath in the market. Now, here's the way I would play this. It's too late to go short. All right, it's too late at this point. But I do think you're going to get a rebound. So if you're short already, let me just zero in on what I think is going to happen here. When the market gives me a GIF like this, and I got a green here on the 60-minute, and I'm starting to break out of this channel with some PTFs on the shorter time frame, I would scale out. I'd scale out either a third or a half. That's me, okay? You could stay with it because you have a red PTF, but it could go to here before it sells off again. So I would scale out of a short position here. If I'm not in this, I would not go short, but I'd put this on a watch list. And let's see where a possible. So I would put this on a watch list. And if prices get up into the 55.62 and start to roll over, I'd put my stop here, do the risk to reward of when I can get in. You know, this will go green, and then it has to go back to red. This will probably stay red. And at that point, you can enter the short trade. So too late to enter the short trade now. If you're in the short trade, I'd probably lighten up a little bit right now. I'd probably take a few, a third or a half off right now and keep the rest short. And if I'm not in it, I wouldn't go short. I would wait for it to retrace into that target zone I drew for you and then consider a short. So let's keep an eye on this. Okay, let's keep remind me of this next week, okay? But not yet. All right. Okay, so you want to take a look at Ford? Okay, Ford was from last week, actually. So this was one where we kind of were going long on this one. So on Ford here, what we're actually doing is taking a longer term trade on this up to the target on the weekly chart. So if we open that weekly chart up, all right, it retraced beautifully here. So our target is 23 to 31. And as you can see, it's right about here, stop here. So you've got to put, if you're going to make a 2 to 1 out of this, you're going to have to have your profit area up here. Okay. Now your PTF is sitting here. So that's pretty good. So I think probably okay to take this still. Okay. I don't think there's that much difference from when we looked at it. So I'm okay with that. All right. As you can see, there's a little bit. All right. But it kind of, you know, got sideways a little bit. So you're still in a buy zone here. So I'm liking this. Okay. But this would be more of a longer term hold on this. All right. Let's take a look at LAC. This is for Terry. Hi, Terry. Okay. So Terry, let's see what you're doing with this bad boy. All right. So the PTF is bullish on the weekly chart and the daily chart. We've had a nice move off the bottom. Check out the 60-minute. Look at that. Pretty hyperbolic to the upside. All right. So whenever I see a big move like this and we have a number of price bars, like 20 in a row where they're without a pullback, that is a little bit of a warning signal to get, it's a little late to go in. Okay. That's the only thing with that. The next thing we got to figure out is, all right, where's the target? Well, the PTF on this time frame here is only saying the high of this price bar is the target. So that doesn't help us any. This PTF helps us a little more because it's pegged off here. So longer term, we should get above 40, between, like, I don't know, 42-ish. Okay, and we're at 31-ish. The problem is, where are you going to put your stop? You know, if you miss this breakout and didn't get in here, then you're forced to get in now, and your stop has to go way at the bottom because we haven't had a pullback area of support to put the stop at except for the bottom, and your risk to reward is no good. So this you got to pass on this. So I don't necessarily think that this is one that won't be good maybe in the future, because if it pulls back, and it will, okay, I just don't know how much higher it's going to go before it pulls back. But if it pulls back, this may be a place to get in, okay, but not now. It's too late. All right, let's keep going. Stuart has another one, MRO. We looked at that one, Stuart. Okay, we looked at that one. So we're all set on that one. All right. Anybody else? Going once, going twice. How about NVIDIA? We looked at that one last week too. Let's just see how that one's doing. All right, so this is another one that we felt was a longer term position based on the weekly chart. So we had a nice clear wave 3 for you Elliott wave people. This is a nice ABC. You see how clear, isn't it nice when it's clear like that? 4 hit the target zone. Now it's climbing out. So this is still good. Okay, NVIDIA is still a good buy here. But this is not a short-term trade. This is going to be one you're going to be in for a long time, because this is a weekly chart. And we're talking about, you know, a target here above the PTF, which puts you right into a wave 5 target zone. So you're talking probably what, 360, 355 for that target. And you're at 181. So that's a huge gain and a great time to get in, because you can put your stop at 150. And again, a great candidate for what? An option, long-term option. All right. Use a long-term option on this. Just don't buy so much of the option that your risk gets out of control. Okay. Nice, simple way to control your risk on the option is if you want to, if your percent risk on any trade is 2%, then don't buy 2%, more than 2% of your account size for any one option. Okay. All right. So good one. So I'm liking that one still. Okay. I'll put that on the list, but it was on there last week anyway. Okay. So we'll just add that to the list. All right. Let's keep going here. ALHC. Now, if you want to stick around to the very, very end after we've looked up all the stocks, what I usually do is take a quick look at some of the day trades on some of the micros. And then if there's one that looks good, I'll talk a little bit about it, and then I'll just let the session end by watching that chart for a little while. I can't let it go for too long, but it's kind of fun to see the system work on these small intraday timeframes as well. All right, so let's see, AL, you're long on this one, and long you should be, okay? And check this out, Al. You just got a green PTF over here now. So that is very encouraging. And you were long probably based on the daily chart when it rolled over here. So yeah, you're in good shape here. Question is, where's it going? All right, how high is it going to go? There's not so much history. So long is where you'd want to be here. And I don't know where your stop is, but the pyramids have your stop here. See the pyramid? Just so you know, if you don't know how the pyramids work, just a quick little synopsis on that. So when I designed these things, what I designed here is for them to not only give you an entry when prices go above the point, but these baselines is where you put the stop. So if you went long here, you would trail your stops right up under the base or flat parts of the pyramid. So that's where your stop would be. Now, also too here, which is kind of interesting, you got a 1B here that was hit. So this is a pivot point. Usually when that signal is hit, and it was, you're good for 2 to 5 price bars in the opposite direction of the signal. So that's a bearish signal. So you're good for 2 to 5 bearish price bars. But you have a green PTF, so there's no need to exit. So I don't think I would go long here. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pyramids in a row. If you are long already, your stop needs to be here. Okay, you could have scaled out a little here or not because you have this. So here's what I would do. Wait until prices go back up, and they may come down a little bit, but I think they're close to coming back up. You got green here. As soon as you exceed this high, this is going to turn yellow. Take a half off the table, and then keep the rest on the pyramid. You may even get a pyramid forming here. Okay, so that would be good. But I would definitely scale out a half when that PTF turns green, either on the 60 and or the daily. Okay, that's how I would manage that trade. Managing the trade is important as anything else. All right, so let me see here. Not sure where I am. Okay, so I just finished key. Okay, so strike price on NVIDIA, you're going to have to look that up. Okay, I always like to go. I have software called Options Play, and it's great software. So on Options Play, what I do is use that, and that gives me the best option based on where prices are now and where I think they're going. So use that if you don't have it. And if you'd like to get it, we have a place in our VIP area where you can get a % off on the Option Play software. Okay. And we don't get any money for that. Okay. So we pass that on to you guys. All right. So it's good software. But as a general rule, what I like to do is I usually, on a bullish trade, I like to get that strike price as close to where prices are now. All right. I don't like to do out of the monies, pretty much either even or just in the money a little bit. Okay. So, but the software will tell you exactly which one is the best. All right. So that is that. Great questions coming in today. All right. I think the next one is DQ for John. And this is one we liked, I think, a few weeks ago, right? No, more like a few months ago, I think. So this is one we were thinking would be a great long-term trade at the time. All right, we moved it up. Here's your 3, okay, 4, and we got a PTF high here for 5. All right, so, we looked at it back in here, I think. So since then, it's moved up quite a bit. So in a case like that, I guess if you could put your stop here, you'd have a decent place. Even if you put it here, let me just see, you might be able to, I don't know, your risk to rewards a little bit. You'd have to get the calculator out and do it. But yeah, if you're long, stay long. Don't get out. Okay. So DQ, John, is still a good one. Oracle, I don't think I'd go into it maybe yet. I think it's a little far along. Okay, Oracle, let's see what you're doing with this one. Green PTF, let's see. Oh, no. Okay, so no green PTFs. We've got a nice move down here. This is kind of looking like the Dow almost. All right, so we got a big move up here. Let me just draw some fibs in here. Let's see what we're cooking. All right, so here's the problem with this one, okay? You got an ABC. Again, we've got a lot of these weak C's, and that concerns me because I think it's more, might be more in the sync of an A, B, C on some of these, okay? So I wouldn't take too many of these ones that were traced on the weekly chart and it just hit the target zone simply because, all right, A, B, that's kind of a weak C because usually C is much more powerful than A. And so when I see this whole thing could be A, all right? And this could be B, and this could be C. So you got to be careful about that. So I'm a little reluctant to recommend too many of these, but certainly it appears to be one that you could trade to a wave 5. That is possible. Let's see if we can see the sequence of 5 waves here. So 1, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, probably. Here's your 1. No, that's pretty extensive. All right, here's your 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So that's a wave probably. Okay, so that's my only problem with that one. Okay, it's a little tough. I could also count probably 1. This is interesting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Complete a wave. All right, A, B, C, B. 1, 2, 3, 4. See, that one didn't quite work out. So I think this might be an A wave, and this is a B wave. So if you're thinking you're going up here, you might not. Okay, so a lot of these ones that are possible, what we think is possible wave 5 could be only B wave. So you got to be careful here. I mean, I don't mind taking 1 or 2 of these in case they turn out to be, but I wouldn't load up on them. Okay. All right, spot, SPOT. I mean, you can take the trade. Just make sure you have your stop in place in case it turns out to be a B wave. All right, so, but I'm not going to put that on the list because we already have one like that. All right, spot. Let's take a look at this for Adam. How you doing, Adam? All right, so we got a little bit of history back to about, what, 2018 on this. So once again, the buy and holders weren't happy here. Up and down, okay? All right, so now, technically, you still got a downtrend in place, and this is looking like a turnaround. This is showing the turnaround. This is green now, green. We have green, no red. So we could possibly eke out a long position here, and I think this one doesn't look too bad. Now, let's see where this bad boy is going here. So I think probably here. Notice, you're probably noticing, well, why doesn't he put the fib retracements way at the top? Why does he always pick these second areas? Because what I try to do is put the fib retracements on wave 2. I have found when I do that, then this becomes a 70% accuracy rate. Okay, so that's kind of why I do that. All right, it's not because I'm a sloppy drawer. All right, so let's take a look at that. So that's our target, and we're at 123. We're taking 190. So we got about 67 on that. Oh, you're in pretty good shape here, provided you don't go too low. Yeah, I think probably this is an okay one. Let's put spot down as a recommended. Boy, we're finding a lot today. All right, so I'd want you to put your stop on this pyramid here. Okay, I think we've had a big pull down, so I think 2 pyramids back is good. All right, just below a retracement area for a small pullback. So I think this is okay. So, you know, there's your risk and there's your reward. So that puts it right in there. So 2 to 1 up there. Okay, so I'm liking this one. Okay, so this is a good one. And Adam found that one. So thank you, Adam. All right, Sue, let's see where we got here. All right, Key is saying NNOX, where should the stop be? Let's take a look. So Key, what are you doing? When did you get in on this one? All right, so let's take a look here. Okay, so we just had a yellow PTF here, okay? So the PTF said that this was high, was going to be breached, and it was. All right, what the PTF doesn't tell you is when or how much of a pullback you're going to get before it, goes ahead and does what it's supposed to do. But you still have a green here, okay? So you've had your big pullback already. So you're in good shape. So your stop can be, well, this is almost at the bottom. Again, what I would probably do is use 2 pyramids back on this one to allow for a little more breathing. So you got what, $5 and you got 15 to 30. So you got about, you got your 2 to 1 here, right? So if you use this stop here, there's your 2 to 1. So NNOX is still good. All right, let's give it a little zing zing there for that. Okay, so that's still a good one. All right, so that's where I put my stop, right at this pyramid here. And if you want an exact value, you just take your cursor, put it right there at the price bar that represents the base leg of that pyramid. And we're looking at 1051, so 1 tick under 1050. So $10.50 is where I'd have the stop. And if you want to enter this, that's where the stop should be too. Now, just so you know, when we manage a trade, here's another thing. I don't know where you got in, okay? But if you got in, you said about a month ago, so you got a little bit of profit, but not a ton, right? So depending on what your situation is, when you see this go to yellow, this is a possible scale out, okay? You also got a greed bar forming here, okay? And that's the ERI indicator. So you could put a stop under there for a scale out, not an exit the entire position. But I got to be honest, I wouldn't do anything because this is green over here now. So I would just hold the position and let it go. You're in good shape, okay? I would not scale out here, okay? But that's kind of the process, when you have 3 time frames like this. Hopefully you're starting to see how we use the 3 time frames, not only to help us look at entry possibilities, but also managing the trade once we have it on. Okay, the green PTF, for example, over here on the 60-minute time frame, kind of gives me the confidence not to scale out just because this went yellow. All right, so all these things are like connecting the dots. And once you get really good at this and fluid, you can look at this combination of charts and in 20 seconds decide what you should do. Okay, so good one. So that's still a buy, by the way. So excellent. All right, John, how are you? SNOW, snow. We looked at this one, I think last week or the week before, because I remember making a comment, snow in the summer, right? All right, so this one actually, John, do you remember when we looked at this one? Can't remember exactly. I'd have to look in my notes, but I think it was either last week or the week before, maybe. Okay, so. All right, so it's come up a little bit here. I can't remember exactly where it was when we looked at it. But, this is getting to a point now where you got to look at the risk to reward, okay? And this is kind of interesting. So I was kind of being conservative on this because I wasn't sure if the downtrend is over, so we could get one more low. But also, too, we do have a green PTF on the weekly chart. So, once this move is over, then it should head up here. All right. Now, the question is the move over on the weekly chart, or are we just in a correction in a situation where we could have one more low before it's over? So that's why I use this as a conservative area for where we wanted to take the trade. And I usually do that in areas where the long-term trend might not be over, because I'm trying to be conservative, right? So in terms of making money on the daily time frame. So it's a little late to get in on the daily because you don't have the risk to reward anymore. All right, on this chart, you kind of don't want to go long here because you got a bearish pyramid and this is bearish. So that's two things going against you, even though you got a green PTF. So, you know, I would pass on a long-term trade on this right now. Okay. And I'd pass on a daily chart trade. Just simply, you're too close, getting too close to the target. Okay. At this point. All right. Notice the pyramid back here did a great job of getting you in early. Okay. So that was, believe it or not, that makes a big difference in the risk to reward. Okay. So there you have it. All right. And I don't know if we recommended that one or not. Okay. We might not have because the risk to reward, depending on what day it was in the risk to reward. Okay. Anything else? Did I miss anybody? All right. Let me just give it a couple seconds here. All right. So we look at some day trading. Okay. Pens. Let's look at pens. P-I-N-S. Belt, this is for you. P-I-N-S. Ooh, ooh. Okay, why do I like this one? Because it looks like it may be finishing a huge move to the downside. And we got a green PTF on 2 time frames. All right, so. All right. This is good because it's getting close to the green area. Let's just see on the daily chart what we've got cooking. Okay, so any short position we're out of. Okay, we've already exited. Okay, so we're not short anymore. So we're not going against the pyramids. We have this green and this green. We have this green and this green. We do not have a green pyramid yet. You could wait for one. Okay, but I don't think you need to with so much green on the indicators. So where is this bad boy going? Let's see. Now we got to see if the risk to reward is there for us. So let's do something for fun here. Let me just bring up, oh, that's Perry. Okay, hi, Perry. All right, let's bring up the risk to reward calculator. Okay, let's bring that over. This is a device, piece of software we use. Let's set it up for stocks. Okay, I'll just put 100,000 instead of the regular account size in there. So just so we're dealing with numbers here, 2% risk. So the entry price is 23.14. Let's put that down. Okay, our exit price on this, I'm just going to move this over for just a minute. All right, let's see where our exit price on this is. So we probably want to use close to the bottom because we're getting in early. So let's use a low of 16.77, and we want to go one tick under that. So 16.76, I think, would work on this. So let's bring this down here and take a look at this. Bring the calculator back over. All right, so what did I say? $16.76. So we put that in at the exit price. These are calibration numbers that you use for the stock market. Now, I want to put the target price in because this is how it determines risk to reward. So $43.80 for the target. We hit calculate. We got a 3.24 risk to reward in our favor. So what does that mean? Okay. Well, we can also trade a maximum of 313 shares on this. So if we take a look at this, because the stop's pretty far away, right? That's pretty far, you know, it's almost 50% away almost. So that's why the trade size is smaller, but it's safe. Okay. Now, dollar risk, 2% of 100,000 is going to be 2,000. So we're just under that dollar risk target, and the target profit would be 6,466. So if we reach $43.80, we'll make $6,466.58 while risking 1,1996.94. So the risk to reward is that we're going to make 3.24 times our risk. That's what this means. That's what the risk to reward calculator does. We use it for day trading. We use it for position trading. We use it for futures. Okay. So that's how it works, okay? So this is a good one, all right? This gets a zinger. PINS, that's one of the best ones today. I'm going to put that as like number 1. So Perry, I'm glad you showed up. Okay, excellent. All right, well, look, we're about at the, how long have we been together here? About an hour? I think about an hour. Okay, so why don't we take a look at, let's drop down and we'll finish the session out. Let's just take a look at a few micro day trades here. All right, so now I switched charts and now we're looking at a 5-minute chart for day trading over here. We got a whopping 1 minute here and a 15-second chart here. Wow, right? Really short. Believe it or not, sometimes we have to wait like half an hour before we can make a trade because we got to wait for all these time frames to align themselves. So this is the MNQ. All right. So not crazy about a short trade really here, though I do think it's probably priming itself up for one. But look how strong this is. So I'm kind of don't want to go against that. I imagine the MES is not going to be much difference. This was left, that is a target left over from another trading day. We remove that. All right, so very similar probably on all the equities. Here's the Dow, okay? Dow is still going up. You know, good trades earlier. Look at the pyramids earlier, but now it's getting extended. All right, let's go to the Russell. All right, again, let me just remove these. These are from yesterday. Okay, so this one is a little bit further along, but again, you're going. So basically, you know, in the long term, when you have a really big owl like this, you're probably going to get a retracement and then a move back up. So any short trade here is going to be going against the trend at this point. So you have to see, well, where do you think this thing is going? Now, you could draw fibs here, okay, from here to here. The problem is if you're going to manage this trade on a 1 minute, it's hard to make the targets on a 5 minute. So I kind of use the 5 minute only as, you know, the roadmap of where things generally are going. So I don't see any trades on those yet. You know, don't forget, things can change. This is crude oil. Okay, so crude oil now has come down and now it's going up. But notice the 15-second chart is bearish. So here's what I would do on this one. This one here, I would say, okay, we're coming down now, but this is green. If this stays green, this will probably go red and then go back to green. So I'm thinking maybe a long trade after this correction is over. I don't think I'm going to trade the correction. I think I'm going to wait because of this green PTF. I think I'm going to wait. There's your bottom. I think I'm going to wait and see how far this goes and then take the long trade after it's done. So for me, I would just sit on the sidelines. This is a 1 minute time frame, you know, so we're not talking like having to wait a day. You're just talking about maybe having to wait 20 minutes, maybe half an hour. But that could be a good long trade in a little while. All right, so you want to pay attention to that. And then we don't go long until this is green, this can be yellow, and this can be yellow. And if we go against this, then we got to cut the trade size, but we're not because we're considering a long trade and this is green. So you got a pyramid here. So I kind of definitely want to take a long trade, not a short trade. All right, even though it's coming down a little bit. But if this thing stops and starts reversing up, okay, I'll be all over this for a long trade. And it is possible. Let's just quickly take a look here. It's possible we're close to a turnaround point, okay, on the shorter time frame. So MCL, no short, but possible long. So that's one you want to keep an eye on. Let's just quickly take a look at gold. Now, gold is kind of a funny market, all right? You can trade in the 1 minute. I mean, look how spotty the 15 seconds. So you got a little bit of a liquidity issue on gold, all right? So not really seeing anything here. I mean, if I got a retracement back here, all right, I'll take it because that's a PTF target there. And this is green. So maybe a long position here as well, but I'd rather wait for the crude oil trade. All right. And look, she's coming down. Okay. So let's see what happens. Now, look, now we've got a red PTF. So this is coming down pretty low and it's going to go lower. So I would not go long here. And this is why we use multiple time frame analysis, even when we day trade, because this is showing us that you don't want to go long. Okay, this is showing us a long trade is on the horizon. Here's our red, good. So we're getting the red, and now we're coming down. The question is how far down? We've already blown through this fib, so let's just remove that. And now we've got red here, so we wait. So by using the right tools, we didn't just arbitrarily go long here, okay? We're waiting, all right? Pyramid says we're gonna have a short position here, but we chose not to because we're kind of looking more for a long position. All right, so that's kind of what we're doing. So that is kind of how I'm gonna leave it on here and let's see what happens. You know, I'll leave it on here for 10 minutes or so before I end the session. But it's kind of fun to see the software work on these smaller time frames. Because I know some of you like the day trade, okay? And you can, you know, if you're trading stocks, same type of thing, okay? All right, so I think I've got everything. So let me just go over and wrap up what we got here. So I think the number one, Perry, was yours, okay? PINS, P-I-N-S, so I like that one. I like AI, okay, that was a good one. MRO was a good one. We got ARKK, which was a previous one, which is still good. We got, what is it, DVN? Did I get that right? I think that was a V. Okay, DVN, and NVDA is still good. We got SPOT, S-P-O-T, like the dog, and NNOX. Okay, so we got what do we got? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, did I count that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, 8. So we got 8. Not bad. All right, so it pays to come here because you can pick up some pretty good ones here. All right, so I want to thank everybody for being here. Have a great weekend. We'll be back here again next week. And I'm going to leave the day trading charts up for you for about 10 minutes so you can see. We'll see if things turn around. Now, if the PTFs go red on the daily chart, and I'll show you that in a minute, then, of course, we can't go long. We got to wait until those work their way out. So we kind of hang tight here and see how big this pullback is before we'd ever think about a long position on those daily intraday charts. All right, so hope you're having a good summer, and we'll be back here next week. Let me put up the chart here for the day trading. So I'll leave that up there. I'll put a little music on, and you know, in 10, I can't keep it on forever, but for 10 minutes, I'll try to keep it on a little bit, and we'll see if this thing turns around. All right, so that's it. Thanks so much. Please give us a like, and we appreciate you being here. All right, take care. Okay, so now notice the PTF turned red, and it's red here. So no long trades. Okay, we can't take a long trade on that. So now I'm kind of switching hats. If we get a rebound up to the inflection point here, I'll probably go short, okay, and take advantage of a scalp trade down to here. Okay, because things change. And that's the thing, is you want to have software that's dynamic enough to change along with the market. So no long trades here, but it's kind of, I don't want to take a short yet. I'd like to wait for a pullback off here and then look to go short somewhere up in here. All right, so that changes the dynamics. So things changed. Let's quickly take a look at some of the equities here. They're still flying up. So these would have been nice long trades in the beginning of the morning. Okay, you can certainly see that would have been a great one. I think probably most of the equities are looking pretty good. However, the NASDAQ is not the same as that one. This one's kind of messy. I don't think I'd do anything with this. And MES was a long trade early in the morning too. All right, so, you know, basically if you go long here, you just trail your stops right up here. Okay, that's how you would do that. Let's see what we got for the Dow's the same way. Nice trade early in the morning too. Okay, so now, you know, you're going to get a pullback, but for right now, if you're long, you stay long. Everything looks really good still. All right, so there's that. You want to look at gold, Mark? Let's see, gold is here. So gold is starting to tick back up as well. All right, you got a green PTF green here. So, you know, if you've gone long here, your stop would be here. If this gets penetrated here, then your stop moves up here. That's how the pyramids work. The only thing I don't like to do is I just don't like to get in late on trends. I like to try to get them in the beginning. Now, if you trade, some people trade the 15-second time frame because they like to really stay close to the market. So then you would just make this your primary, your 15-second, the primary time frame. Certainly could do that. Yeah, so the MNQ is the only one out of sorts today. The rest of them seem to be trending pretty well. And crude oil now is pulling way back. Okay, so here's this retracement we're getting, possibly on crude. So, you know, if you drew a line kind of like this and this, then I can't go short on this until we at least get up into here. And then once we get here, I want to make sure this is still red. This could go green or yellow, but I can't go short if this is green, and I can't go short if this is green. So usually what will happen is this will change like it did to green now that we're in the retracement, and then we got to wait for that to go red again before we can consider a short trade. So the bottom line is the owls have to be both the same color in the direction of the trade we want to take, and then we don't want to be going against any PTFs. That's basically how we do that, okay? So now we'd have to wait for the owl on the 15-second to turn back to red and make sure the PTF's close to going green here. So we got to see if that's going to happen. Okay, it just did, see? Just went green. So now we can't even consider a short position until that green works its way out. But that green PTF is only saying that, you know, the markets need to get above this price bar's high, and it may turn yellow unless the momentum is strong enough. Now, another thing that could happen, all right, you know, maybe this will come up here, come back down here, all right? So if you take a short trade, you scalp out here, but then, all right, maybe it'll turn around and start its long position then. And if you look here, it's down to the point of inflection here. So that could certainly happen as well. So you got to kind of stay with it, you know, when you do these things. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and end the session here. All right, but that just kind of gives you an example of how the software works on intraday markets and how we have a set of rules around using the different indicators to plan our trades. So it's kind of fun to look at those. All right, thanks for tuning in, everybody, and we'll see you next week.